Good morning, my dear students. We are here for another Valenzuela live session on Mathematics 7. This time, quarter 2, week number 6. But before we start, make sure you have your learning packets, notebook, and ballpen beside you, for we will be solving a lot in this lesson. Make sure to try and do your best in every given example. Be active and use our comment box as your way of sharing your answer. Lastly, let's have fun while learning mathematics. For today's lesson, we will discuss about special products. And at the end of this live session, you, as a learner, should be able to learn how to use models and algebraic methods to find the product of two binomial, product of sum and difference of two terms, square of a binomial, cube of a binomial, and product of binomial and a trinomial. But before that, before we start our discussion, let's have a simple activity entitled Answer Only Please, or AOP. Okay, the instruction is we will simplify the following and press the appropriate emoticon of the correct answer. You will use or you will click heart emoticon or thumbs up emoticon. Okay, so you will have or you will be given 5 seconds in every problem. These problems will be a recall of your previous lessons and it will help us in our topic today. Are you ready? Okay, let's start. So number 1, x times x. Again, the given is x times x. Is it heart for 2x or thumbs up for x squared? You have 5 seconds. Timer starts. Okay, time's up. So the correct answer is thumbs up. That is x squared. Okay, number 2. We have 3x, 5 plus 5x. Again, sorry. For number 2, we have 3x plus 5x. Is it heart for 8x or thumbs up for 15x? 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So, if you choose heart, you are correct. It is 8x. Okay. Number 3, we have 3x times 2x. Again, the given is 3x times 2x. Is it heart for 5x squared or thumbs up for 6x squared? 5 seconds. Okay, time's up. So, if you choose thumbs up, you are correct. That is 6x squared. Okay, let's have number 4. We have 6x minus 3x. Again, we have 6x minus 3x. For heart, we have 3x. And for thumbs up, we have 2x. Your 5 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So if you choose heart emoticon, you are correct. That is 3x. Let's have number 5. We have negative 2x times 4x. Again, we have negative 2x times 4x. For heart, we have negative 8x squared. And for thumbs up, we have 8x squared. So your 5 seconds. Okay, time's up. So the correct answer is negative 8x squared. That is a heart. Okay, let's have our last example for this day. We have negative 3x times negative 4x. Again, our given is negative 3x times negative 4x. Is it heart for negative 12x squared? Or it is thumbs up for 12x squared? You have 5 seconds. Okay, time's up. So the correct answer here is correct, thumbs up. So we have 12x squared. Okay, so let's begin this by defining what is a special product. Okay, So a product is the result of factors multiplied, and it is called special simply because we just use patterns in algebra to find their product. Are you familiar with these figures? If you are familiar with this, can you comment it down to our comment section? Okay, very good. That's correct. It is algebra tiles. Okay. These tiles are used to represent variables and constant to solve algebra problems. Okay, again, these are algebra tiles. This green small square is the unit tile. It represents our constant, while this green rectangle tile is the x tile and it represents our x. And this green big square is the x squared tile and it represents our x squared. While this this red small square is the unit tile for negative constants. This red rectangle tile is the negative x tile which represents negative x. And this red big square is the negative x squared tile and it represents negative x squared. Remember, if we are multiplying same colored tile, the result will always be green tile. Like green times green or red times red. But when we multiply not the same colored tile, the result is always a red tile. Like red times green or green times red. Okay, so let's begin. The first special product that we will discuss is the product of two binomials. Find the product of the quantity x plus 1 times the quantity of x plus 3. Okay, so let's first arrange the tile according to the fill of rectangle. Okay, so we will put x plus 3 at the top and it will be represented by 1 green rectangle tile for x and 3 green small tile for 3. While we will put x plus 1 at the left side and we will represent this by 1 rectangle tile, 1 green rectangle tile for x, and 1 green small square tile for 1. Okay, take note, we can interchange the position of our factors here. We can interchange the position of x plus 3 and x plus 1. Okay, let's multiply each tile one by one. Again, if we are multiplying the same color tile, the result is always green. Make sure that our answer must be perfectly fit to the dimension of our factors at the top and on the left. So rectangle tile, green rectangle times green rectangle. The answer is big square, green big square. Rectangle times square, the answer is rectangle. Rectangle times square is rectangle. Rectangle times square, the answer is rectangle. For square times rectangle, it is also a rectangle. Small square times small square, the answer is small square. Small square times small square, the answer is small square. And small square times small square, the answer is small square. Okay. For our last step, we will count the tiles that we have after multiplying. Okay, so we have here one piece of big green square, which represents x squared. We have 4 pieces of green rectangle tile, which represents 4x. And we have 3 pieces of small green square, which represent 3. And if we will combine this, we will have a final answer of x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, so next. Find the product of the quantity x minus 2 times the quantity of x minus 3. So again, first, we will arrange the tile accordingly to fill the rectangle. We will put x minus 3 at the top and will be represent this by one green rectangle tile for x and three small red square for -3. And we'll put x plus 2 at the left side, and it will be represented by one green rectangle tile for x and two small red square tile for -2. Take note, again, we can interchange the position of our factors. Okay, so let's multiply it by 1. Again, if we are multiplying the same color, the result is always green. And make sure that the answer must be perfectly fit to the dimension of our factors at the top and at the left side. So, rectangle times rectangle, the answer is green big square. Green rectangle times red rectangle, the answer is negative or red rectangle. Green rectangle times red square, the answer is red rectangle. Green rectangle times red square, the answer is red rectangle. Red square times green rectangle, the answer is negative or red rectangle. Red square times red square, the answer is green square. Red square times red square, the answer is green square. And red square times red square, the answer is green square. Next is red square times green rectangle, the answer is red rectangle. Red square times red square, the answer is green square. Red square times red square, the answer is green square. And red square times red square, the answer is green square. So, let's count the tiles, combine the similar terms, and simplify. So, as our last step, we will count the tiles, and after multiplying, we have one piece of big green tile, which is x squared. We have 5 pieces of red rectangle tile, which is 5x. And we have 6 pieces of small green tile represent 6. And if we will combine that, our final answer would be x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, next example, we have to multiply and get the product of the quantity x plus 2 times x minus 3. So first, we will arrange the tile accordingly to find the rectangle. We will put x minus 3 at the top, and it will be represented by one green rectangle for x and 3 red square for -3. And we will put x plus 2 at the left side, and it will be represented by one green rectangle tile for x and 2 green small square tile for 2. So, take note, our unit tile this time has two colors, which is red and green. So, let's multiply each tile one by one. Again, if we are multiplying the same colored tile, the answer is always green tile. But if we are multiplying not the same colored tile, the answer is red. Okay, so let's start. Green rectangle times green rectangle, the answer is green big square. Green rectangle times red square, the answer is red rectangle. Green rectangle times red square, we have red rectangle. Green rectangle times red square, we have red rectangle. Next, we have green square times green rectangle, we have green rectangle. Red square times green square, we have red square. Red square times green square, we have red square. Red square times green square, we have red square. Then we have green rectangle times green square, we have green rectangle. Red square times green square, we have red square. Red square times green square, we have red square. and red square times green square, we have red square. Okay, so for our last step, we will count the tiles after we have multiplied each factor. So we have one piece of green big square, which is x squared. We have three pieces of red rectangle tile, which is negative 3x. We have two pieces of green rectangle tile, which is 2x. And we have 6 red small square, which represents negative x. Observe that our answer this time have two colors of x tile, which is red tile and green tile. It means we need to simplify it. Okay, so look and eliminate for zero pairs. So as we can see here, we have three pieces of red tile and two pieces of green tile. And we will eliminate this as zero pair here because a pair of green tile and red tile is opposite of one another. And it is the additive inverse of one another. That's why it's called zero pair. And if we add them, the result is 0. So we have to eliminate this one and another pair. So since we already eliminate the zero pair this time, we will now count the tiles. So we have one piece of green big tile, which is x squared, and we have one piece of red rectangle tile, which is negative x, and we have 6 pieces of small red small square, which is negative x. And if we will combine this, we will have x squared minus x minus 6 as our final answer. Okay, aside from algebra tiles, there's another method we can use in solving special products. Okay, let's check this method and let's multiply x plus 1 times x plus 3. So let's multiply first the first term of each factor. We have x times x. So we have x squared. Next, multiply the outer terms. That is the first term of the one factor and the last term of another factor. We have x times 3, which is 3x. Next, let's multiply the inner term, which is the last term of the one factor and the first term of the another factor. So we have 1 times x, and that is x. Lastly, let's multiply the last term of each factor, 1 times 3. And the answer is 3. So this method is what we call FOIL method, or other call it smiley method. Okay, so since we have an initial answer which is x squared plus 3x plus x plus 3. So we can now simplify it by combining our similar terms. So we have 3x and x as our similar terms, and if we will simplify that, we will have x squared plus 4x plus 3. And as we can see here, it is also the same answer that we get in our algebra tiles. Okay, next, let's multiply the quantity of x plus 2 times the quantity of x minus 3. Let's multiply the first term of each factor. We have x times x, that is x squared. Next is, let's multiply the outer term. That is the first term of another one factor and the last term of another factor. That is x times negative 3, that is negative 3x. Next, let's multiply the inner terms. We have 2 times x, and that is 2x. Lastly, let's multiply the last terms of each factor. We have 2 times negative 3, that is negative 6. So since we have our initial answer, which is x squared plus 3x plus 2x minus 6, we can now simply combine our similar terms. So as a result, we will have x squared minus x minus 6. And it is also the same as our answer a while ago using algebra tiles. Okay, so let's proceed now to another special product, which is the product of sum and difference of two terms. So let's find the product of the quantity of x plus 1 times the quantity of x minus 1. So first, arrange the tile accordingly to fill the rectangle. So we'll put x minus 1 at the top, and it will be represented by one green rectangle tile for x and one red small square for -1. While we will put x plus 1 at the left side, and it will be represented by one green rectangle tile for x and one green small square for 1. So take note, our unit tile this time has two colors, which is red and green. Let's multiply each term one by one. Again, if we are multiplying the same colored tile, the answer is always green. But if we are multiplying not the same colored tile, the answer is red. Okay, so we have green rectangle times green rectangle. The answer is green big square. Green rectangle times red square. The answer is red rectangle. Green square times green rectangle. The answer is green rectangle. And green square times red square, the answer is red square. Okay, so as our last step, we'll count the tiles that we have after multiplying. So we have one big green square, which is x squared, one piece of red rectangle, which is -x, and we have one piece of green rectangle, which is x, and we have one piece of small red square, which is -1. So as we can observe here, we have two colors of x tile, which is green and red. Again, it means we need to simplify it. Okay, look and eliminate for zero pair. So as we can see here, we have one red tile, one rectangle, one red rectangle tile, and one green rectangle tile. So we will eliminate this because it is a zero pair. It is opposite of one another. So as a result, we will now count the tiles that we have. We have one piece of green big square, which is x squared, and one piece of red small square, which is -1. So our final answer is x squared minus 1. So let's multiply again x plus 1 times x minus 1 in different way. We have to use FOIL method this time. Okay, so let's multiply the first term of each factors. We have x times x, that is x squared. Next, we have the outer terms. We will multiply x times -1, that is -x. Next is the inner terms, which is x times 1, which is also x. And lastly, we multiply the last term of each factor, which is 1 times -1. And the answer is -1. Since we have initial answer, which is x squared minus x plus x minus 1, we can simplify it by combining the similar terms, which is -x and x. And if we will simplify that, as a result, we have x squared minus 1. So a while ago, we used algebra tile to solve it. Now we use FOIL method, and the answer is still the same. Another method that we can use here is just simply multiply the first term of each factor, that is x times x, which is x squared. And lastly, let's multiply each last term of the factor. We have 1 times -1, that is -1. So as a result, we have x squared minus 1. Now, let's proceed to another special product, which is square of a binomial. Okay, find the product of x plus 6 times x plus 6. We can write this into the quantity of x plus 6 squared. So first thing that we need to do is to identify the first and the last term of our given. So our first term here is x and the second term is 6. So next, let's now start. We will square the first term. Okay, so we will square x and we will have x squared. Next step is we multiply the product of the first term and the last term by 2. So we have 2x or 2 times x times 6. As a result, we have 12x. For the last step, it is square the last term. So we'll have to square the last term. That is 6 squared or 6 times 6. As a result, we have 36. Therefore, if we will simplify x plus 6 times x plus 6 or the quantity of x plus 6 squared, the answer is x squared plus 12x plus 36. Okay, now let's proceed to another special product, which is the cube of a binomial. We can say that it is the extension of square of a binomial, but this time we will multiply the factors 3 times to itself. The cube of a binomial, or x plus 1, can be expressed as x plus 3 cube, or the quantity of x plus 3 cube. So the first thing that we need to do here is to identify the first term and the last term of our given. In this example, our first term is x and our second term is 1. Okay, we are getting the cube of x plus 1. Now, let's take the two factors first, and we will use the FOIL method. So we have x times x, we have x squared. X times 1, we have x. X times 1, we have x. And 1 times 1, we have 1. And if we will simplify this and combine the similar terms, x and x, we will have x squared plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so next is we have a trinomial now as a result of our two factors, and we multiply it again by one factor x plus 1. So let's multiply each term one by one. X squared times x, the answer is x cubed. X squared times 1, the answer is x squared. 2x times x, the answer is 2x squared. 2x times 1, the answer is 2x. 1 times x, that's x. And 1 times 1, that is 1. And if we will look for similar terms and simplify it, we will have a product of x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. We have another way to solve or to find the product of x plus 3 cubed. So let's begin. So the first thing that we need to do is to cube the first term. Okay, so we have x raised to 3 as a simplest and if we will simplify this, we have x cubed. Next is we multiply the product of the first term squared and the last term by 3. So we have 3 times x squared times 1. As a result, we have 3x squared. Next step is we multiply the product of the first term and the last term squared by 3. So we have 3 times x times 1 squared, and as a result, we have 3x. For our last step is we will cube the last term. Okay, so we have 1 times 1 times 1, or simply 1 cube, and the answer here is 1. Therefore, if we will simplify the quantity of x plus 1 cube, the final answer is x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 1. So let's discuss now the last special product today, and that is the product of binomial and trinomial. So we have to multiply x squared minus 3x plus 9 times x plus 3. So just like what we did in cube of a binomial, when we have the binomial and trinomial, we will multiply each term again one by one. So we have x squared times x, we have x cubed. X squared times 3, we have 3x squared. Negative 3x times x, that is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 3, that is negative 9x. 9 times x, that is 9x. And 9 times 3, that is 27. And as our initial product, we have x cubed plus 3x squared minus 3x squared minus 9x plus 9x plus 27. And if we will look for similar terms and simplify it, we will only have x cubed plus 27. Now, it's your turn, my dear students. We will solve for the product of the following and press the appropriate emoticon for the correct answer. Again, you will use heart emoticon and thumbs up emoticon. You will be given 10 seconds in every given example or even in every given problem. Please type your answer in the comment section below. Okay, let's start. Number 1. X minus 3 times x minus 2. Again, x minus 3 times x minus 2. Is it hard for x squared plus 5x plus 6? Or thumbs up for x squared minus 5x plus 6? You have 10 seconds. Starts now. Last 3 seconds. Okay, time's up. So if you click thumbs up, you are correct. That is x squared minus 5x plus 6. Okay, next. We have the quantity of x plus 5 times the quantity of x minus 5. Again, the quantity of x plus 5 times the quantity of x minus 5. Is it hard for x squared minus 25? Or thumbs up for x squared minus 10x minus 25? Your 10 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So the correct answer here is hard. You're correct. Next, number 3. What is x plus 7 squared? Again, what is x plus 7 squared? Is it hard for x squared minus 14x plus 49? Or thumbs up for x squared plus 14x plus 49? Your 10 seconds starts now. Last 3 seconds. Okay, time's up. So if you answer thumbs up, you are correct. Very good. Next, number 4. Kindly simplify x plus 4 cubed. Again, x plus 4 cubed. Is it hard for x cubed plus 12x squared plus 48x plus 64? Or thumbs up for x cubed minus 12x squared plus 48x minus 64? Again, is it hard or thumbs up? Your 10 seconds starts now. Okay, time's up. So if you choose heart, you're correct. Very good. Okay, next, number 5, and our last given for this day. We have x squared minus 2x plus 4 times x plus 2. Again, the quantity of x squared minus 2x plus 4 times the quantity of x plus 2. Is it heart for x cubed plus 8 or thumbs up for 8 for x squared minus 8? Your 10 seconds starts now. That's 5 seconds. Okay, time's up. And if you answer heart, you are correct. Very good, my dear students. To sum up the important points of our today's live streaming session, special products where A is the first term and B is the second term here. We have A plus B times A minus B. The answer is A squared minus B squared. It is the sum and difference of two terms. Next is A plus or minus B squared. That is equal to A squared plus or minus 2AB plus B squared. Take note that the sign of 2AB will depend upon to the sign of our given, and it is called the square of a binomial. Next is A plus or minus B cubed. The answer is A cubed plus or minus 3A squared B plus 3AB squared plus or minus B cubed. It is the cube of a binomial. The sign of 3A squared B and B cubed will depend upon to the sign of our given. Next is A squared minus AB plus B squared times A plus B. The result is A cubed plus B cubed. That is the product of binomial and trinomial. Another is A squared plus AB plus B squared times A minus B. The answer is A cubed minus B cubed. We'll just cube the first term and the last term, and we will use the sign of the operation in our binomial. I think we are ready for the question and answer portion of our live streaming session today. If you have some questions, just leave it on our comment section below, and our moderators will choose selected questions in the comment section. So we have our first question. Sir, is it possible that the first term of our answer is always positive? Okay, so my answer is no, because there are times that it becomes negative, especially if the first term of one factor is negative and the other factor is positive. Okay, so let's wait for the next question. Okay, sir, pwede po bang pagpalitin ng pwesto yung mga factors sa algebra tiles? Wala po bang magiging epekto sa final answer? Okay, again, like what I have said a while ago, we can interchange the position of our factors in algebra tiles. And don't worry because it doesn't affect our final answer as long as you multiply it correctly. Let's wait for our last question for the day. Okay. Sir, what is the easiest way or method to solve special products? Okay, so for me, there's no easiest method that we can use. It depends upon on the given problem that you are about to solve. And the easiest way for me is maybe not easiest way for you. And it would be better if we know how to solve it in many ways. But always remember to follow the right and proper procedure to avoid mistakes. Okay, now it's time for you to answer your activity. For your activity, kindly answer What's more on page 28 of your learning packets? It is already flashed on your screen. Again, it's a grateful and fruitful day. I am Sir RANNIEL ERES from MAPULANG LUPA National High School. Thank you and stay safe.